Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are Inside Movies Galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am one of your hosts, but today we are coming back to a group of insane creatures that are manhandled by other people. This is apparently the second film in a franchise that we've been covering here. So, Brandon, are you the host of this one?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you tell us what film you subjected us to this week?
Yes, this time we are actually covering the second Muppet movie, which was The Great Muppet Caper, 1981, with Jim Henson, back in the director's chair again. And this was a different journey.
His first one, wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't this his first movie as a director?
Potentially, but I haven't looked back up the original Muppet movie. I just know that he was director for this one because I looked that one up.
Right.
This one doesn't have nearly as many of the cameos, but what it lacks in bulk, it does make up for in some interesting ones. And this one stars, of course, Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo, and Miss Piggy as they make a movie about a jewel heist where they must find out who is robbing the fashion star Lady Holiday of her jewels and prevent the theft of the biggest diamond of all, the baseball diamond. And with various Muppet antics along the way. So we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about on this. I'm just going to get my little mic over here and get all cozy because we're going to have a fun night tonight. So let's start about first impressions. So Dave, was this your first time watching The Great Muppet Caper?
No, but it's definitely been a while. I remember bits and pieces of the film. I mean, it stars Charles Grodin way before he was the father in Beethoven. And Beethoven's second.
Oh, that is that guy, isn't it?
Yeah, Charles Grodin was
slightly more sinister character in
and he's
one.
actually been in quite a few movies back in the day. So, in any case, I specifically remember the time when Miss Piggy was kind of imitating Ethel Merman or Esther Williams or Esther whatever her name was that she was known as like the dancer of the swimming dancer, or the mermaid. They called her a mermaid at the time in the classic movies.
Man.
I forget what her name is, but they definitely imitated her and her swimming.
I think
dancing.
you might have had the name right at the beginning. Ethel Merman sounds right. Let me see.
Okay.
Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. She did a lot of music.
Ethel Merman. No, well, there is an Ethel.
Well, there is Ethel Merman, but I don't know if she was the mermaid that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
she might not be the one, but she did a lot of musicals. So
Yep. Indeed.
Let's see if I look it up by swimming mermaid actress. Esther Williams was her name.
There you go.
Okay.
Known as $1 Million Mermaid, most famous for swimming in the 1940s and 50s with MGM. So,
And I believe that's the character that the Coens referenced with Scarlett Johansson's character in Hail Caesar.
yep.
Yeah.
So, I do remember that, and I do remember the black cat burglar uniforms that everyone was wearing. And I swear to God, the African American lady that was with them, I swear I saw her in another movie that had to do with a werewolf.
Well, of course, I was going to say, well, of course, our Miss Holiday was a Bond girl.
Yeah.
On the one George Lazenby movie. And her final ever screen appearance was Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho. Makes me all the more disappointed I didn't talk to Mr. Wright the other day. Oh well.
I'll admit, when I saw them all dressed up for the heist, I kept thinking about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but yeah.
It could be that he was referencing
cliches.
It could have been this was one of the movies he had in mind.
You never know.
Yeah.
But in any case, I remember seeing bits and pieces of this. I'm glad that I saw it because as an adult, I don't like this movie as much as I did the original. It may be because it like goes all over and the songs aren't as rememberable
Except for
as the Rainbow Connection was, and some of the other music that had to do with
What's going to be?
So
It's understandable.
in fact, most of these songs were just kind of forgettable to me. Although I didn't mind the happy.
I was gonna say there's one I'd fight you on for that. For memorable. That's one
I didn't mind that one, and I didn't mind whenever it showed the people who lived in the Happy Hotel or whatnot. I like the idea of it because then it's like the grungier area for Muppets in Hollywood, Of course, I do love how Gonzo and Kermit the Frog and what was it, Fozzie Bear, all like landed in the middle of the street in a hot air balloon. So that was interesting. And then that big monster dude, he just kind of fell into a sewer. But there was one other thing that I do want to mention. I think I'll remember is that there were a couple of cameos that straight up said, "I'm only in here for a small cameo."
Yeah.
And another guy was like, I am too."
Yeah, Peter Ustinov and of course the Grouch.
And of course, Waldorf and what's his face were definitely in there, and they're at least amusing. So,
Yeah.
other than that, that's pretty much it for me. I mean, they're and the fact that Miss Piggy was walking down in that dress, and all those photographers were like oohing and ahhing over her. But anyways.
What about you, Jake? Was this your first time seeing Great Muppet Caper?
Well, it's not, because you showed it to me. Actually, I think that was the first time, and I'm almost certain it was one of the first ones you put up when we were doing that movie game, because it was like, or at least an early one.
Yeah, that whole thing was, just to say as just an explanation, whenever we mentioned that, we were playing a little game where we would take turns, and the idea was simply, wait, I can't believe you haven't seen that. I've seen that. And then we would go back and forth. Yeah. That's how I saw Silence of the Lambs for the first time. So I can't really,
Right.
there are a few.
Yeah. And I know this was one of them. And again, I can't swear to it that I never saw pieces of it growing up. And I probably saw, because you can correct me if I'm remembering this wrong, but I feel like you had introduced the Happiness Hotel prior in a game.
Probably.
And that was, I think, one of the reasons why you wanted me to see the movie. I know you did introduce it in a game. And, in the famed option C.
Very popular choice.
But and I'll admit, I've watched that sequence a few times because it is a hilarious. That again, I would have thought you too, Dave. That song is memorable, but that whole sequence is just incredibly memorable, including the part where they're talking about how we're going to pay, and they bring up option C. And then there's the part at the end, which I had to put the picture up. Sam the Eagle's cameo in the movie, where at the end of the song, he just says, "You are all weirdos," and closes the door.
He does make another cameo later.
Right, but I did like that part. I will say that overall, the movie is not quite as good as the previous one. I do remember, I read this last week, so I can definitely fill in this, that this was Jim Henson's directorial debut in movies. He had done television. Apparently, I think he did the Emmett Otter special. He had done a lot of television, but this was his first movie. He was talked out of directing the Muppet movie because he was already doing so much. They're like, if you're directing two, but I think this time around he might have felt more comfortable. He wanted to try it. And I feel like maybe it did show some growing pains there, like stepping behind the camera in a different role, maybe. And there aren't as many cameos. I did enjoy the Peter Falk cameo. That amused me. And there were a couple of, I missed Oscar. I missed that cameo completely. I don't know how I missed it, but and I don't think I realized when Peter Ustinov was on camera either. I think I missed both of them. But
he was the cement truck driver, and Miss Piggy jacked in the original. And when she tossed him out of the car unceremoniously, and basically when she carjacked him, and he landed next to the garbage can, and then he made that thing. It's like, what are you doing here? And Oscar's like, a very brief cameo. Me too.
See, I don't remember that at all. I don't know how I missed that, but I do not remember that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that part.
But so at any rate, I was a little tired, so maybe I just missed a couple minutes. I don't know,
That's possible.
I did enjoy. I always enjoy Jack Warden. He's a good actor, and I always although I couldn't place it immediately, I was like, I know this guy. But he was fun, going around slamming everything, and playing the typical angry editor. And then there was one other notable one. What was the other? Oh, John Cleese, of course.
Yeah.
That was a little less thrilling than I would have expected from him, but
that's why I missed him the first time I watched the movie, because it was so unobtrusive.
He plays the snob husband, right?
Well, they were both playing like a really, 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 really bored with each other couple, and they played it to the hilt. The problem was it was a gag that kind of dragged by its nature.
I thought you said the pets were dead.
Or like, oh, there's a pig climbing upside the house. And then a couple minutes later, the wife's like, did you say there was a pig? Oh, yes, I guess I did. It's just like, I mean, the way they both underplayed it was amusing, but it just, like I said, I would have hoped for more from him. But
there is one thing that's interesting about that scene.
Yeah.
Is when he actually makes that content, it's like, it's a pig, and she was with a lizard. It was actually put in intentionally because Kermit the Frog started out life as a lizard.
Right. But yeah, it was so overall, I do agree that the movie isn't quite as snappy. It's not quite as fun as the last one. There aren't as many good quips throughout. There are moments. And the music overall is not as strong, with the exception of that one song. But overall, it's still a fun movie, and I enjoy watching it. And I don't think I'll revisit this one as often as the other one, but it is fun. And of course, for a movie for my birth year, it could be worse. Yeah, it's no Raiders of the Lost Ark, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I had the original Muppet movie for mine, and Alien. But two very similar films.
Oh yeah. Alien is a very famous family film. For kids.
So, Tammy, was this your first time watching The Great Muppet Caper?
I don't think so, but I didn't really remember much of it. So it was like watching it for the first time, Just bits and pieces seem familiar. I do have to agree with David that I didn't like this one as much as the first one. I don't know why. I think the first one was a lot more entertaining. And I think the songs were better in the first one. But I did like of course, the Happiness Hotel one, song. I do think it was kind of neat to see some different Muppets in this one. Like, you saw a lot more of the rats, and you saw the cabbie driver.
Yeah,
Beauregard.
Yeah.
Huh?
Beauregard.
Yeah, Beauregard. I knew it was some weird name, but and I mean, especially when they first get to the hotel and you see everybody. I thought that was kind of cool, And like I said, there was neat to see some different and like the the front desk clerk
Hmm.
and I like Beaker. I like Beaker. So, but yeah, I mean it was fun, but I don't know. I guess I don't think it was as fun as the first one. But I didn't mind picking it out and everything. It was just um I don't know what it was. It just
Oh yeah.
didn't catch me the same way as the first one. But all in all, it was still good fun. I do remember that cameo that you guys brought up about when Piggy took over the truck. What are you doing here? um, and there were other references made in this too about that. I'm making a movie. We're making a movie here. We're making a movie
A
here.
lot of fourth wall breaking.
But you had that old opening credits sequence where they're all commenting on it, and Fozzie
Oh
was
yeah,
Fozzie was in "Are we there yet?" mode. Are the credits done yet?
that was funny. I was like, because I definitely did not remember that, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
But there was a couple other references about we're trying to. Oh yeah.
Wow, you actually laughed at something Fozzie Bear did?
Haha.
I think
But-
Fozzie was actually much better presented in this one than the previous film, actually.
Yeah, he wasn't as annoying in this one as he normally is.
Well, they had that weird running gag where supposedly him and Kermit are identical twins, and the hat was how you tell them apart. And it's like,
Is that a frog? No. And he's like, is that a bear? No, bears wear hats.
Yeah, that was. I know when you saw that headline on the paper about identical twins, it's like, really, people? Okay. Well, yeah, when Kermit was trying to get Piggy to calm down, and he's like, we are trying to make a movie here. Okay, so you kind of like get it together. Come on. So I remember that one as one of the references to trying to make a movie there. But oh yeah, it was like I said, yeah, I didn't mind Fozzie as much in this one. That is for sure. I mean, I don't know what it is about him. I've always found him annoying. Maybe his constant waka 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 thing or whatever, but he didn't really do that in this one.
I was going to say, he didn't even try to do the stand up
So-
in this one.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't seem to bother me that much in this one. So, but that's it for now. I'm sure we'll get into more things.
All right. Well, so I will preface this by saying that I definitely can understand on the surface that yes, the original Muppet movie is a superior movie in every way. Now, that being said, this is my favorite Muppet movie. Now, there is a reason for that. And that reason, I think Dane would have been particularly good at saying, is nostalgia.
mm-hmm.
There were a very small number of movies that I had on repeat as a child that I was obsessed over. Great Outdoors was one, which I don't think, have we covered that one on this channel?
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. Let's see.
Do we do it on this channel or on Delusions? Because I feel like we did it on one of them.
Let's see.
Maybe
here.
I'm thinking that wrong, though. I
No,
don't
we
know.
have done it. Okay, so we have covered it.
Okay.
So
we did?
Yep. So, Great Outdoors is one. History of the World Part 1, I didn't really get into until I was a teen. This was one. I know there were some others that I had on repeat, but there were not a lot. but there were certain ones that I just loved watching over and over again. And when it came to the Muppet movies, this one was my favorite, followed by the Muppets Take Manhattan, and finally the first one. I don't know why, but as a kid, the first one, I just got bored with it. I don't know why I did. As an adult, I do like it more. I like it much more than I did as a kid. I don't know how I feel about Muppets Take Manhattan because I haven't watched it since probably my early 20s when I got the copy of the DVD.
Yeah, here neither. I think the last time I saw the Muppets Take Manhattan was when I was a kid. So
I couldn't tell you my current opinions on it.
Mhm.
This one, however, held up for me, but in a visible nostalgia way. And I know that y'all know what I'm talking about. There's that one
Yeah.
movie that you watch so much that you sit there and you're not necessarily enjoying the movie as much as enjoying the memories of watching the movie.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And
I'll be the first to say Top Gun is not a great movie, but it is nostalgic as hell for me.
and that's this movie for me is a big nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, I was singing along to every single one of the songs in this because I had heard them all so often.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hot to Trot was one of those, which is why, despite Bobcat Goldthwait saying that, yeah, this movie does put people to sleep, which, you know, is kind of funny. When I got to meet him, that was his comment about that movie. But it was one that I watched constantly, and I was glad I actually have his official signature on my copy. But, you know, those are movies that I know are not great, but they're movies that really meant something to me when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching this, I was just really getting that vibe out of it, and I was vibing with it and just enjoying it. There's just something about this one that still holds up to me because it brings me back to those times. Feeling comfortable, kind of falling into bed, laying down and just taking a nice nap as or falling asleep for the night with my recording of this going over and over again, because I used to have an old tape of it, and that's one of the ones I would watch over and over and over again.
I'll be fair and honest. The Bremen Town, the Muppets of Bremen, was my nostalgia one of the Muppets. So
so you can understand what I'm saying.
Yep.
So I definitely can understand, especially if I came to this later or I didn't watch it as much growing up. I would probably not have put this as my favorite Muppet movie, but because of the nostalgia, it definitely sticks with me. And for me, the jokes, they're not as many that land hard, but some of them land really well. And the Happiness Hotel is still one of my favorite and funniest bits.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it still holds up, not just to me, but to people outside watching it. So that's good.
Well, and not just the specific moments I already mentioned, but there's also the part where I think Kermit is like, what's his deal? Like pointing at Animal. And one of the others is like, oh, he's upset that we missed the Rembrandt exhibit. And then he's like, Renoir. I'm like, that's a joke kids are not going to get, but it's great for the adults. It's like,
yes.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So we get started with that thing in the balloon, and I do kind of like that. Well, you got Animal doing the MGM lion basically, and eating the thing around.
Right.
Then we cut to our three main characters, Gonzo, Fozzie, and Kermit, in their hot air balloon as they float around with the credits. So what does BSC stand for, Jacob?
What's up?
BSC. I was looking at that
Fozzie's
like, what does BSC stand for? I don't know.
I believe it's the British Society of Cinematographers or something like that.
And I also like the comment where he's like, nobody reads these, do they? And Kermit's like, sure, they all have families.
Right.
Now that I've actually been in a few films, I can definitely understand that now. I was like, yeah, I'm probably one of the few people who actually watches the credits just to wait for my name to come up.
Well, and there's the other question of like, that's a lot of names or whatever. And Kermit's like, well, the end credits are even longer or something like that.
And I will say, one of the coolest things this week was when I got my copy of Amityville Insurrection or something like that. I can't remember the name now.
Mm-hmm.
And watching the credits, and then I got to see both my name and Jake's name pop up in the opening and end credits, which was really cool.
Very cool. So I'm sure my page has been updated for that.
It's also really cool to know that it was a film that I was actually paid to make.
Yeah.
And Jake was paid to act in it.
Isn't that something? Like
So,
my second or third, I think that's my second ever paid gig.
But and it wasn't a bad short. So,
I also liked in that opening sequence. It's again, this is something that might hit a little differently for people of different ages, but it might be seen as dark humor for an adult. But I was amused by it, where they're up in the hot air balloon, and Gonzo is pondering about what it would be like to plummet in free fall, and Kermit's like, please don't do that. We have a movie to make or something.
It's like, I wonder what this would be like without the hot air balloon. What, plummeting? Yeah. The way he said that, I was like, is Gonzo suicidal or just crazy? And it's the latter answer. Because he is. He's insane, pretty much.
Right.
But
just one of the reasons he was one of my favorites.
I wonder how long you could plummet before you black out.
Right.
Sure is tempting. But they do get started with it, and they bring the hot air balloon, and the first song is done, which is "Hey, a Movie," essentially.
Right.
Which to me is my second favorite song of the film. It's just a really energetic song, really snappy. It gets you kind of feeling into it. Has a very massive dance number and a lot of fun cameos and bits in it that you might not catch at first. I mean, like, for instance, you see one where you've got like all of the all the monsters being taken away in like the dog catcher or whatever, and then you see it later with them driving the car and the dog catcher in the cage behind it. Stuff like that throughout was really fun to watch. But what did y'all think of that whole opening scene with the balloon and the whole initial dance sequence?
I thought it was cool. I mean, landing in the middle of the street like that, you know.
I thought it was interesting.
And then starting, like, you know, the whole singing and dancing number and everything was just like, okay, that was cool. That was different. You know, started off like that. And the big monster dude comes running right down that hole.
Right.
Sweetum's only appearance in the movie.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize it, but well, you do and you don't. You know that the guy is up to something shady or whatever, you know, and when he goes and steals the jewelry, but it's like you kind of know something's going on with him, but then it's like after the number's over, they get in trouble. That's like, oh yeah, he really was up to something.
Well, what's interesting for me is when I was a kid, I don't know why I didn't realize this, but as an adult, I'm looking as like, oh, they are idiots. Because while the whole robbery was literally going on behind their backs, like literally behind their backs,
Right.
the one with the camera and the other two reporters were trying to get a photo of the chicken that is wandering around.
Well, it's not really explicitly mentioned in the film or explicitly shown in the film, but we do know that Gonzo has a thing for poultry. So no wonder he was distracted.
But the other two were also just as distracted.
Right.
Like, that was a great photo, Gonzo. I'm like, damn.
Right.
Y'all just missed the robbery, like literally behind your back. No wonder your editor was pissed off.
Right.
Well, they had the oblivious feed, I guess.
Super oblivious.
Well, it's like that one game that we did where I like missed was the 3 rounds because I was looking the other way. Oh, that was fun. But yeah, it was. I think that first big song and dance number it's big and it is upbeat and cheerful and it's pretty good. But to me, those kind of dance numbers tend to not leave a lasting impression as much as some of the other stuff. And I don't know. Maybe if I see the movie a few more times, it'll leave more of an impact. But yeah, it's definitely nowhere near as strong as an opening as Rainbow Connection, even though it's different in almost every way. It's not as strong.
Like I say, I won't forget any of the songs in this, but that's because I watched it over and over and over as a kid.
This one, all those songs were written by, was it Joe Raposo, I think was the name. So it's a different person writing the songs. But, yeah.
Well, anything else on the opening?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Oh.
I think the opening dance number was pretty cool.
Like I say, I don't know why. Well, I mean, I guess again it's nostalgia, but I just really enjoy that one. It's very, it's just them basically saying, "Hey, we're getting ready to start a movie here."
Right.
And it's like, wow. And there was a lot of fun stuff going on, but there was a lot going on, and you kind of had. It's one of those sequences you'd want to watch multiple times to see a lot of the stuff happening in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But they go in there, and of course, he's talking about everybody else has the headline about this jewelry heist, but our paper, the headline, which this is the picture for, is identical trends join the Chronicle staff.
Right.
And they even show the picture of their father, who is basically a green version of Fozzie with Kermit's eyes and the thing around the neck.
Yeah. It was interesting.
But their idea is like, well, let us go to England and we'll solve the case. He's like, nah, screw that. Y'all are fired. Find your own way.
Yeah.
With Gonzo saying, stop the process before.
They
I always
still
just wanted
do
to
it
say that.
somehow. So they found a way somehow.
Yeah.
Ninth class.
Yeah. In there, you got the one cage labeled frog, the one labeled bear, and the one labeled whatever.
Hey, they still apparently showed the in-flight movie there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a really bad class when they throw you without a parachute out of the plane.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're not stopping in England. We're going, what did he say, France or Italy? But whatever the case, we're not stopping in England, but y'all are.
And I like later when they are actually paid to go. I guess the company actually paid for their flight back, and when they finally get to where they're going to get dropped off at the one guy says, "Oh, how far is it? Oh, about 30,000 feet."
At least they had parachutes this time.
Yeah, true.
They land in front of a pond, in a pond, in front of a very portly and older gentleman.
Yep, played by Peter Morley.
Yeah, Robert Morley.
Robert Morley. Well, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Robert Morley. Yeah.
It's been in a few things.
I got him and Peter Ustinov mixed up.
Right. It's been in a few things over the years. I'm trying to remember what I've seen him in. I know there've been a couple.
I do like where they were talking about things, and again, I didn't get this as much as a kid, but as an adult, I appreciate it more because, again, most of these characters are not strapped for cash in the slightest. They just have money for everything. But the Muppets are always strapped for cash.
Right.
And I love how they're like, so where could you stay for free? It's like, bus terminals, riverbanks, the Happiness Hotel.
So he was in The African Queen, and he was in Around the World in 80 Days.
He has a pretty big classic movie image.
Yeah. There have been a few.
I do like how Gonzo's was like, what's wrong with bus terminal? Like I say, I get that much. I didn't get that when I was a kid, but I get that now.
Right. And then they end up going to Cheapside is the area where the hotel is.
Yeah, and just like with the plane, the bus doesn't even stop. They just toss them out as they go.
Yeah, I think it was funny when they were asking the guy about where can we stay, and he mentions the Happiness Hotel.
Yeah.
It's like, why would that even be on that guy's radar? He doesn't look like he'd be somebody that would, know about
He has his
that
little
place.
tour book in his hand.
But yeah, that was kind of crappy. How next stop Happiness Hotel, and they just throw him out.
They threw him out the window.
I do like it when they were going over Tower Bridge, and of course Fozzie comments, "Oh, it's London Bridge." I was like, "Yes." I just realized that yes, all of us Americans look at Tower Bridge and think of it as London Bridge.
Well,
because the actual London Bridge is very nondescript and kind of meh.
Well, no, there's also what's this river called? I think it's called what did they say? England River or whatever?
English River.
English River, yes. Of course, there's the River Thames. And then what was it? Gonzo, I think, is looking out the window. It looks very realistic.
But yeah, as somebody who's finally gotten to go over Tower Bridge, it is a very cool experience.
Okay.
London Bridge was not a very cool experience. It was just kind of, oh look, I didn't know this, because you would not realize it's London Bridge when you go over it. It just looks like any other bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess because it kept falling down.
Yeah.
But they do get to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they check in, and then that triggers the
somebody's checking in.
I like, how do you want to pay? Credit card, A, credit card, B, cash, or C, run out the back door in the middle of the night.
Sneak out in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Very popular choice.
And yet, it seems that very few people avail themselves of it, considering how many people are staying at the hotel. It's like the Electric Mayhem are like, we're just here between gigs. How long you been here? Oh, about 5 years, I think.
I think it's gonna change when we get our glossies.
Let's go order some food service. I don't think there's a phone in here.
And I think one of the rats is like, I don't think there's any food in here either. Or something.
There's no food in here either. Let's go, Rizzo. Which is probably one of the first times you hear the name Rizzo.
Yeah.
But the song to me is iconic and it's hilarious. Yeah. I have the whole thing memorized from constantly.
And it is catchy.
I mean, lines like, but if you like friendly animals and can learn to stand the smell, well, welcome. Welcome home to Happiness Hotel. You'll fit right in Happiness Hotel.
We're all weirdos.
But they do settle in the room, which is a nice room if you think about the hotel they're in. Even though the light bulb keeps falling out of the fixture, And apparently the bed is one of those that can hide, but it just swings back up, and they just decide that's where we sleep because it's dark in there.
Well, yeah, it's like apparently it's pressure sensitive, and like if you sit on it, then it goes up. Just
Isn't
kind of
that
up.
what they call those a Murphy bed or something like that?
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's what they were called.
The bed that sprung right back up and trapped you inside of it.
But
I know,
to
but
me,
I thought that's what they were called.
but you
Not
got
sure.
to see a lot of cool cameos and Muppets that were revealed there. I mean, you got to see Rolf, which was one of Tammy's favorites from the previous movie. And it was funny because you got him and Dr. Teeth basically taking turns on the piano because they both play the piano.
Right.
So Dr. Teeth was Dr. Teeth is piano. I was going to say technically keyboard, but no, he mostly was piano. So it was kind of cool to watch them all just get their... Basically, this is the place for most of them to get their little bit of spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, Scooter, which was one of the other bigger Muppets, was in that one as well, with him going on with it.
I saw Scooter.
Yeah, it always makes me wonder. They had his sister from the Muppet Babies. Yet, what happened to her in between? Did she get cannibalized by the other Muppets? I guess we'll never know.
I guess not.
Guess not.
There was a dude at GalaxyCon selling a bootleg copy of the Muppet Babies show. That was so much.
I did not see that.
He was in the back corner, which I guess is where you would want to be if you were a shady bootleg salesperson. But
Black market kiddie programming from the 80s.
pretty much.
Well, they did make cartoons out of everything in the 80s, so
They did. And there are some that if I had seen them there, I probably would have snapped them up. They did have the Japanese Spider-Man, a lot of the other things.
Oh, really?
And that was a weird show too, where Spider-Man was actually a mecha pilot.
Right.
It was a weird show,
As
but
you do.
it was blessed by Stan Lee. So hey, so we get to go to Lady Holiday's manor after that, where we get to see Miss Piggy, and it's a lovely how she makes the comments like, oh, all my models are looking like barnyard animals, and then she just then that's when Miss Piggy answers. Comes to she's applying to be a model, and she gets offered. It is funny because she shows her little portfolio. And she's talking about all of these different emotions, yet it's the exact same pose each time.
Right.
Wonderful range of emotions you have there.
And she's very emphatic that she will be a model and nothing less.
I can offer you a secretary job. Take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
She even comments later. I was like, she's extraordinary. Only about 45 words a minute or so.
Right.
Nothing spectacular.
Right.
Okay.
As somebody who actually types 60 words a minute, I can tell you it's hard to do that without spelling it badly.
Right. I think I tested at 55, and so
I'm a one-finger typer, so I can't do. Never really figured out how to type.
Just go into a field of work that requires you to type constantly for 20 years, and you'll be a pro in no time. Well, 20 years.
All right. I do know there are certain things that I have trained myself to type very, very fast because you type them all the time. There are certain words and certain phrases, yes.
But let's see. So, of course, she goes out, but I do like that she does give this, exposition dump where she's talking about her worthless brother who squandered the inheritance.
Yeah.
So she had to bring him on in the company, and he's like a parasite using her and her money. And she's like, "Why are you telling me all this? It's exposition. It has to go somewhere." Before she leaves. And Kermit comes in to do his interview and thinks that she's Lady Holiday, and she doesn't really dissuade him on the fact.
Right.
Arranging for a date because, of course, as always, they have to fall for each other as it happens, and they set up a date, and she just pulls he pulls a name out of nowhere because she just says guess, and some sort of Highbrow Street. Yes, Highbrow Street.
Yeah.
But what did y'all think of that scene?
And they randomly select a number.
Yep.
You talking about the scene with Miss Holiday and Kermit after?
Yeah. Well, that and yeah, with Holiday all the way to where she meets Kermit with Miss Piggy there.
Well, we mentioned, of course, 17 Highbrow Street is where John Cleese and what's her name?
Person.
Yeah, Person.
Person with John Cleese.
Yeah, an older lady who actually had guested on Faulty Towers, where she apparently played a troublesome patron. But here she plays the troublesome wife.
Yeah.
Joan Sanderson, that's who it was. Yeah. Joan,
there it is.
Yeah. And they're like,
Dorcas.
she is the perfectly insufferable, snooty, upper class, kind of bored with everything and wants to complain about it. And her husband just doesn't care.
The children are gone. Pets are dead. Butler's been charged.
Right.
But yes, anything else on the scene with Miss Piggy's first appearance?
I thought that she was her her normal hyper self. But yeah.
I was
Thought it was
amused
funny
by
when she fell into the garbage can.
I was amused by that portfolio where it was all the same pose and expression. Yeah. And Lady Holiday's comment about her range of emotions.
And I won't take anything short of being a model. Well, you could be a receptionist. Okay.
Right.
Very enthusiastically accepting the job.
That was a pretty fun sequence. I'll admit it was like.
And you never see her do anything as far as being the receptionist, though.
Right.
The only thing you see her doing is helping to put the show together. But you never see her actually do anything as a receptionist.
I say, apparently she can type 45 words per minute according to Lady Holiday.
Yeah.
But it also introduces the three walking, talking bad girl cliches, as Kevin Smith would put it. And they're, of course, models themselves and wannabe fashion designers. But they get their stuff crapped on by Lady Holiday. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know about her talk anyway. I mean, she just dumped a bunch of ink on one woman's dress as she was going.
Yeah.
But they're talking about how they're going to have to rip her off. And of course, Gonzo does get a picture of him, but he gets his nose caught in the elevator and has to have it straightened later by the doorman outside.
And he doesn't realize that, the picture that he caught was, the picture he caught, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that one wouldn't incriminate anybody, so it's,
No, if he would have overheard them, though, because they were talking and then they were quiet right away, with the door open. So.
So we do have, so of course, after making the date, they go back to the hotel, They try to hail a cab, and Gonzo's best idea for hailing a cab, which is to toss your body in front of the cab.
Mhm.
It's even
He's like,
better when
"What,
it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like that was someone said something like, "What a great idea" or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, it's even better when it works." It makes you wonder how often it has not worked.
It's even more dangerous getting into the car because of Beauregard being the one driving.
Right. And then of course he ends up driving them straight into the hotel. It's like, well, he's like, what floor are you on? Oh, we're on the second floor. Well, I can only get you into the lobby.
Well, and then on the way, every time, he says, just go straight. He does a U-turn.
It does a U-turn.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, now go straight this way. He does a U-turn.
Like,
Yeah, and then to get out of the hotel, he's like, you should just do a U-turn.
this like, what was it that day? It's like, this city is hard to. This city's a bit hard to learn. It's like, oh, how long have you been here? All my life.
This Beauregard is such a British name.
He ends up getting it's like what was it that they actually commented on why he didn't have an accent, and I can't remember what he said.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But of course they have one of the few full appearances of the Swedish chef. It's like, steering looks like steering wheel souffle for dinner tonight. Again.
Yeah.
And of course Fozzie lets the secret slide that he's got a date with Kermit's got a date with Lady Holiday.
Well, yeah, and everybody at the Happiness Hotel is like into everybody's business like nothing else. So Fozzie tells one person, and it's kind of like domino rally effect.
Well, Kermit is all excited about a date, and Fozzie ingratiates himself along. And once he gets the invite, suddenly it's the whole hotel.
We have the song like "Stepping Out with a Star," I believe is the name of it, and it was again, it's one that can be forgettable, but it's one that I also enjoy. I can't say I enjoy all the songs in this, but I do enjoy this one. Again, while they're getting ready, and of course, it's interesting that Kermit, who doesn't normally wear clothes, wears a whole lot of clothes in this particular movie.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's dressed. He dressed till the tilt. Should have played a sharp dressed man for that one.
I guess, but the only real difference for Fozzie is the hat.
Well, bears wear hats.
Well, and I suppose you could actually put Kermit the Frog in his role as the lawyer in for Mustache Matinee for when he shows up to Miss Piggy in the jail cell.
Rosenthal
eventually,
and he somehow transfers them.
But it was interesting. It was a cute little song, I thought. And then, of course, because he feels bad about Fozzie not being able to go on the date with him, he invites Fozzie, and then Fozzie invites everybody else along, which I guess works out for Kermit because he's able to actually get a ride out there.
Yeah.
Any other comments about the whole Stepping Out with a Star song or anything like that?
Yeah. I didn't entirely get into that song.
Like I say, I understand. I may very well be having what is that? The syndrome where terrorists hold over to you, and you get to like them after being exposed for something.
I remember watching this a lot more when I was a kid, and I think the songs held more nostalgia then than they do as an adult. At least for this particular one, I totally forgot about the Happiness Hotel song though. I have to re-listen to that after we're done.
It's just such a fun song,
right?
So the they get to the street, which we've talked a little bit about, because you got John Cleese and his wife talking about, like, what do we do? I was like, are you? Am I boring you? No.
I
If you
think
were boring me,
this.
I'd have gone out to buy something.
I think their whole entire conversation to me is my favorite part in the movie. Because especially when he mentions that he saw a pig climbing up outside.
I mean, it's mostly bored rich people talk.
Right. Very, very bored rich people talk.
It's like, what would you buy? A jar of calf's foot jelly? I was like, maybe I'll go with you next time.
Are you even listening, Neville? Are you even listening, Neville?
It was, but it was a very subdued John Cleese role, so it was kind of hard for me to identify him as John Cleese the last couple of times I watched this.
It's definitely, again, if we harken back to Faulty Towers, it could very well be that if Basil Fawlty had ended up marrying one of his most annoying patrons, and just a few years later, he's just over it.
He's definitely a far cry from playing nearly headless Nick.
Well,
that was a waste of a casting, though.
That was an underused Cleese in a different way. But yeah, he is known for those really, really uptight characters. And this one, he was, but he wasn't as...
He wasn't uptight. He was just a bored, wealthy man, and he was just like anybody else, just like these weird things happening around me. But it's normal. Like when Piggy breaks into the house,
right,
and then Kermit rings the doorbell, and they're just discussing because the butler's been discharged, as they say, and then of course they're trying to figure out. It's like, no, the pets are dead. The butler's been discharged. And the bell keeps ringing and nobody's willing to answer it. And she's like, I'll get it. It's like, I thought you said the pets were dead. But shows Kermit around and the beautiful view of the closet as John Cleese's character goes after them. And then when he does open the door, she ends up making it look like he's their servant.
Did you need anything?
He's rather nice, considering she broke into his house.
Could you tell us the best restaurant nearby?
That's more of a supper club. I told them that, but it just so happens that is the same supper club that Lady Holiday was going to. But they do take the Happiness Hotel double-decker bus out there. I was like, I get in the front seat. The back seat's been quarantined.
You don't have to be so loud. It's okay. They're okay with it.
Yeah, it's okay. They don't mind.
And then this one is where we hear Nightlife, I believe, is the
which is the love song that they play with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Man.
I guess was Brandon. You can probably, if you've been watching this since you were a kid, on IMDb it says that the song originally had no lyrics. Do you remember watching one that had no lyrics?
Yeah, I was surprised when I watched this for the first time on the DVD and it had lyrics.
Okay.
Because the old VHS I had that was taped in the 80s did not have any. It was just basically the musical. And Animal going, love song, love song.
And I think in the other one, Animal, it wasn't Renoir, but who was it that he originally said? It's like he had a different one he yelled out.
Now that one I don't remember because I wouldn't have gotten the joke as a kid.
I don't know why they would have changed that. But apparently the soundtrack recording had the original lyric. I don't know.
But they do get to the supper club.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, Lady Holiday and her brother Nicky are there.
Mm-hmm.
And he really acts like this insufferable bratty guy.
Yeah.
Like overacted.
Did she call him? Was it a worthless parasite? Is that what she called him?
Well, if you notice on his door to his office, it actually has parasite written on the door.
It is. The worthless parasite, or whatever the phrase she used, is what's written on the door.
So, in a way, I don't blame him for seeking to steal her stuff.
Right.
There's no love lost between the two. That is for sure.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, of course, they're doing this, and I remember that me and some of my friends used to make the joke when I was a kid, when Kermit was, because we didn't understand the high price issue when I was like 8 or 6 or 7, something like that. So we used to make joke. Somebody made the joke when I was watching this with friends back, and I was like, he knows there's frog legs on the menu. But I understand much better now what made him like go.
What do you say? Like the steak costs as much as an Oldsmobile or something like that?
He said, something like that.
We need to get up $1,600. So Gonzo decides he's gonna go table to table and take photos.
Right.
The other one I didn't get at the time.
The one about the guy and his wife.
It's like I just get a picture of wife. My wife's sick. It's like the saying's like, oh, and Gun's like, oh.
Well, then you should go home.
that was my that. Now, if I was in his place to say, oh, well, in that case, it's going to cost $1,000 for the photo. I'm sure your wife might want this photo.
My wife is at home.
Yeah.
So and of course the song, I think the first time I can't think of the full title of it, but the one that they play there where they do the dances, and I admit I need to try that trick one time when I've got some cheaper champagne, because I don't want to do it with expensive champagne, where to see if Fozzie's right. If you mix enough sugar in this, it tastes like ginger.
The first time it happens.
First time it happens, yes.
Yeah.
And it was where, of course, her brother then falls in love instantly with Miss Piggy.
Yeah, of course.
As you do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the song, the lights get dimmed, and they take her necklace. But Gonzo is just right there taking a picture just at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then, of course, they develop it later on. And of course, everybody at the Happiness Hotel is trying to get into the whole room, and because the light,
they the bathroom.
But before that, Miss Piggy her cover is blown when they find out that she is not Lady Holiday, and of course, Miss Piggy runs out and drops one of her slippers, her glass slippers.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go directly to the thing doing the development.
Well, no, I think the next scene was Peter Falk's scene.
I can't remember whether it was before or after that, but either way, he's carrying the shoe, and Peter Falk basically plays more of a bum type character version of his Columbo character,
right?
Except, and does this whole Columbo shtick where he's like, where mostly Columbo does his thing and then gets everything right, but in this case, he comes up with this totally outrageous story that has nothing to do with what really happened.
And Kermit looks at him, you are 100% wrong.
The funny thing about that is I had just looked down for a moment and then from the screen, and then I heard the voice. I'm like, hey, is that Columbo? And I look up, I'm like, hey, it is Columbo.
I think that's exactly why they had him do that. Make this very un-Columbo.
Well, and oftentimes Peter Falk, whenever he shows up, sometimes he like shows up as like quite the bum, you know.
Well, it's more similar to this character in Murder by Death, who was also somewhat incompetent.
Sam Lack.
Well, we just saw him not that long ago in a movie I came across. It was,
Robin and the Seven Hoods,
yes.
where he was in with Frank Sinatra and
The whole Rat Pack.
Yep.
But I liked I liked the Peter Falk scene. I thought it was a great scene.
Right.
But
it's like the way he's spinning the whole story, it almost felt like he was telling his own story and projecting onto someone else. But it also could be seen as exactly what you said. Like, this is Columbo. We're going to have him do the Columbo thing and be so completely wrong.
Then you sell the business to the greedy guy who caused the problem in the first place. Then you took all the money and you put it into the glass slipper business.
Right.
But he sees Miss Piggy there and confronts her about it. And they have this whole thing where apparently Miss Piggy goes out of character and he has to coach her to get back into acting for the movie again. Which again, I also didn't get as a kid, but I understand it now. It's like, I'm not overacting. I'm going to walk. All right, walk. And she has this whole diva moment, which I guess is appropriate for Miss Piggy. Where she's like, well, I might as well walk. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, walk. And she starts crying, and then he walks her through it, and they get back to it. And then they do the bicycle scene right after that, which falls into another song with them.
I thought they had a hard time doing the bicycle scene in the first one. I guess they figured out how to do it.
I guess they figured out. I guess all the work they did to figure out how to do it, they said, no. We ain't gonna. We spent all that time and money trying to figure out how to do this. We are going to do it again.
We're going to double down and triple down this time.
We're just going to do everybody riding the bikes.
I liked all the little rats on that little bike. Tandem bike.
Oh, the tandem biking rats. That was great.
I mean, I love that in the scene where Kermit's trying to do tricks for Miss Piggy to impress her, you got Statler and Waldorf watching. He's like, look, Ma, no brains.
Yeah.
But it was it kind of reminded me a little bit of the scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he does those like tricks on the bike. He also I think falls in the end of that. That was another one I watched a lot as a kid. But that one was one that I wasn't as big a fan of, but I did like the bicycle stuff that they did. And I appreciate it even more now because I realized how much that they had to do to get it to work in the first Muppet movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But did y'all have anything else as far as the scene with Peter Falk and the whole Miss Piggy and bike thing?
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. There was, when Kermit was doing his little tricks and got caught in the tree. I thought it was kind of cute when he fell and landed on, in her arms. That was cute.
Actually, no, the photo scene did happen before this. And the reason why it did is because she was talking about how he was jealous because he was talking about how Nicky was the jewel thief, which he discovered when they developed the photo.
Correct. And of course, right as it was coming into view and they could see it, that's when the door was forced open and the picture was destroyed.
Got their hand.
Did we talk about the Esther Williams scene?
No, we didn't get that far yet.
Okay, because I thought that was at that same part where.
Nope, that's coming up when they have the show.
Okay.
But this is where they're developing the photo, and when they bust in, he's like, "Yes, we got their hands in the cookie jar." And then when they do that, and of course the whole photo like turns black, they're like, "The cookie jar just busted."
Yeah.
As everybody was just Which I admit, they should have probably warned people that they needed the bathroom for a time,
Yeah.
or maybe tried to use it if it was the only bathroom in the hotel. They might have wanted to wait until maybe night or something.
Right.
But yeah,
They were excited. They wanted to get there, you know. But yeah, that was poorly planned.
that was not a. They didn't think that through quite well.
It wasn't exactly a brain swelled moment.
Yeah, then we had the scene with Miss Piggy and them, because, like I said, the part of it was her saying, "Oh, you're jealous," and that was part of that lead up to that argument. But then we get to the scene where they're doing the fashion show, and you get to see Nikki meeting with the three, and them talking about, because he at first, while Miss Piggy's jumping around with the models backstage, and she's all business at that point, showing what kind of a record secretary she is, I guess, and or assistant anyway. Kind of her breaking through her Devil Wears Prada, work. If that was a movie that came before this, I would have said they'd have taken that from that, but no, Devil Wears Prada came way after this.
Well, I was thinking earlier. I believe that character is Anna Wintour, right? I believe I could see a Lady Holiday being cut from the same cloth, if you will, although maybe not quite as mean.
I kept thinking that the way that that Lady Holiday was talking, I kept thinking about Mary Poppins. For some reason, I kept thinking I heard Mary Poppins in that somewhere, but just the way she was talking.
Like, Nikki comes off almost rapey at that scene with her.
Like, oh yeah, he's grabbing her and everything else.
I'm so tired of these women with these long legs, their beautiful skin. It's like their silky skin. It's like, yeah, I guess I could see where that's a turnoff for you.
Right.
But, because he turned her down and all that, they're like, yes, I really don't want to do it, but I'm going to have to use her as the patsy. So one of the girls fakes at the fashion show, one of the girls fakes getting sick. And Kermit also comes back behind the stage also when with them squaring off a little bit. But one of the girls fakes sickness. He says, "You've got to go on in her place." It's amazing how her outfit just fit Miss Piggy perfectly.
It is.
Their proportions are obviously just exactly alike.
But yeah, this is where we get the fantasy sequence with what was that? I think it was just called Piggy's Fantasy or something like that. Piggy's Fantasy, Miss Piggy. And Couldn't We Ride, by the way, was the song in the bike scene. And I read, we were just talking about how the bikes sequence was the first one. Apparently, they've claimed that the aquatic sequence here with Miss Piggy was probably the hardest one to do in this movie.
Well, I mean, considering just in and of itself, the synchronized swimming is extremely hard, which I also didn't have appreciation for at the time. But now I look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, that must have been like hard. And they're not even in the front of the view.
I was having a hard time believing the lady playing the harp underneath the sea.
As a kid, this was my least favorite song. As an adult, this is also my least favorite song. So I guess that works out well.
Yeah, her songs usually aren't the best in my mind, but
yeah, I mean, she like a fool jumps into the fountain because she's so caught up in her fantasy.
That's about the only part that I actually remembered from seeing it before.
And,
well, she's got delusions of grandeur.
and Nikki plants the necklace with all the diamonds taken out, of course, in her coat. So they, of course, pin the whole thing on her, and she goes to jail. Meanwhile, Gonzo overhears that they're going to steal the baseball diamond because she's moving it to the Mallory Gallery because she no longer is going to have it in her possession. She's not going to have it stolen like the others.
Right.
Which is basically the Hope Diamond, but bigger.
Yeah.
Makes the Hope Diamond look small.
Yeah. And I'll admit, the baseball diamond is pretty freaking big for a typical diamond. But for a baseball diamond, it's actually quite small.
Yeah. And I admit, I was actually, that's one of the advantages to living in Virginia, is especially where we're at. We were close to DC.
Yeah.
I've actually managed to see the I think one of the world's biggest diamonds multiple times, and it's still nowhere near as big as that freaking thing.
I saw the Hope Diamond maybe twice as a kid. I think that's the biggest one I've seen.
It's still sitting in the Smithsonian, where it's always been just kind of
chilling. Years. It's been years.
Well, it's cursed after all, so nobody wants to wear it, which I understand. It's got a bad history to it, so yeah.
Yeah. I'll admit, this baseball diamond would have a pretty hefty curse on it as well, literally, because anyone that wore it would probably have severe head and neck issues after a while.
But during that time, they've overheard it, so they're going to intervene in it, and they're talking about that before they prepare. Basically, Fozzie does his speech of like, shame on you, and shames them all into participating and helping to try and keep them from stealing the diamond and clearing Piggy's name. And meanwhile, Kermit goes as Rosenthal to speak with Piggy and let them know what they're planning on doing, which of course leads to her escape a little bit later.
You're gonna go with those clowns?
Which of course Miss Piggy, not even like hours in the jail, has picked up jail lingo.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in the slammer, you gotta get tough fast.
Right.
And that's when they kiss, and then Miss Piggy has the mustache, and Kermit's got the grill marks on his face.
Yeah.
But as they prepare, Miss Piggy breaks out of jail by basically bending the bars with her bear string.
Yeah, she turned into super pig.
She turned into Incredible Pig.
Well, Miss Piggy's always been known as like you don't want to make Miss Piggy angry.
You wouldn't like her when she's angry.
But it goes into the whole thing where, of course, the bad guys are all like talking about all these, checking off this really expensive, like high-tech jewel thief equipment, and then the Muppets are trying to tick off this list of things that they pretty much don't have.
Oh yeah, that part was pretty funny, where they were doing their respective checklists. That was pretty good. But I just had a weird random thought. I would throw it out there because Miss Piggy definitely has that whole Hulk, you wouldn't like her when she's angry thing. It makes you wonder if that's why she likes Kermit, because he's like small and skinny and green. So he's like the inverse of the Hulk, because he's like Bruce Banner but green. And it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I'd forgotten about that checklist sequence. That amused me. I was like,
wax slips? Oh man, I just had them. Did you check your other pants? These are my other pants. But and the one guy, the guy with the boomerang fish, he was like, I've got some paper towels.
Yeah. Gotta have paper towels.
Well, he brought out that you have the paper towels like twice. It's like, what is this? What are you gonna do with paper towels?
they say in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that the most important thing you can have is your towel. So maybe this is like the cheap side equivalent of having your towel.
Paper towels.
Yes.
But the way that they show it is, of course, you've got a kind of a mix of the prison break versus them getting in. They break in originally by trying to have an animal eat through the bars and realize there are dogs there. So they instead decide a ploy of having Kermit and Fozzie do twins pizza.
Yeah.
And the with the security guard is like, but I hate pepperoni. Well, you could feed it to the dogs.
Actually, I believe the animal does manage to eat one of the bars, but it takes so long. They're like,
Yeah, he does. He eats one bar. Hey, through bars. But one of the other things I remember that I didn't get as a kid was why he wanted to see the slip with his name on it. I thought, I was like, oh, he really wants to see his name on the slip, because I was a little kid. And I mean, shoot, I was 2 when this came out. But but of course he was looking at that because he was suspicious of it.
right.
But they do all sneak in with that, and the dogs are distracted because they're being fed the pizza. But when the dogs
I love how the guard is like, but I don't like pepperoni.
But I don't like pepperoni. But I
Let me
hate
see the slip on
pepperoni.
that.
Well, some people are weird that way.
Let me see the name on that slip.
Yeah, that was interesting, and they do get up the thing. They're wondering how they're going to get up, but then the dogs come in there, and then everybody's scared up there, which is hilarious in and of itself. And then, of course, Rolf is like, "Hold on, let me talk to them." Rolf, 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 Rolf. They all lay down. It's like, helps to know a second language,
right?
And you also get to see your Bunsen and Beaker moment, because Beaker's testing with a screwdriver if there's an alarm, and apparently hits a live wire or something and shorts it out.
Right.
But meanwhile, Miss Piggy carjacks Peter Ustinov.
Well, yeah, and Peter Ustinov, he's at first telling her that he's not gonna take anyone along or anything, and she's like, "I've tried being nice."
Look at the sign, no passengers. But yes, I thought that the brief scene with him and Oscar the Grouch was quite funny as a short-term one, where he sits there, he's in there right next to the garbage can. Oscar comes up as like looks at him, and then Peter Ustinov's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And then Oscar's like, "A very brief cameo." He's like, "Me too." But her journey basically is she's doing that until it runs out of gas, and then she lucks into it as a stunt bike company goes by, and one of their bikes happens to fall off with, by the way, a stunt outfit in her size. How very convenient.
Indeed.
But we get back to that in a minute. But any thoughts about that? I know, Jake, you missed that scene with Ustinov and Oscar.
Well, now that you mention it, I remember the beginning of it, because I remember the no passengers thing, but I just don't remember the rest of it. I don't remember the part with Oscar. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't. Maybe, like I said, maybe there was just like a half a minute where I wasn't.
Maybe it wasn't dawning on you that that was Oscar.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I literally did not. That interchange you guys described, I have no memory of it. So that's really weird. But like I saw the rest of that. I remember the part with the bike falling off the truck. And like from there on. Yeah. It's weird.
So they climb down into the rafters, the Muppets do,
Right.
as the others break in, as the jewel thieves break in. And of course, as they get down, one of them comes down. I think it's Fozzie said, "I don't think that belongs to you." And then this whole Marx Brothers-esque thing, I was reminded of Monkey Business, which was one of my favorite films at the time, where they had this just general chaos as they're just doing this like keep away game with the baseball diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Muppets coming by with popcorn and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the commentary.
There's someone sitting there doing a radio commentary or whatnot.
But they do end up, of course, as Kermit's heading out for it. Of course, Nikki grabs it and then holds the gun up to the and Kermit and holds the gun up to the group, and it looks like they've won when, of course, Miss Piggy bursts through the window, which is a very impressive jump for considering the bike, and manages to knock him out and beat the crap out of the bad girl cliches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was quite an impressive coming through the window on the motorcycle.
I should mention the recurring joke that they did have, which is we're going to catch them red-handed, and there was like, well, what color are their hands now?
Yeah,
Right.
So that how many times?
They said they did that multiple times throughout.
Yeah. I could think of 3 offhand. I think there were at least 3, maybe 4 to 5 times.
Well, Beauregard does it twice.
Yeah.
Miss Piggy does it once, and I can't remember.
Right.
I think it was Bunsen that does one time as well.
Doesn't Fozzie do one? Doesn't he do one with Fozzie too?
Yeah, Fozzie probably did it as well. They like that recurring joke.
Right.
What color are their hands now? But of course, they do this, and of course, Miss Piggy says it does the whole speech of, "You're a bad guy, and he's a good guy." It's like, you were wrong, and he's right. And he gets taken off to jail, and she's no longer put in jail, and they're given the Chronicle rewards them with their jobs back as they are being flown across the country because they broke the story of the jewel thing. And then of course, as was said earlier on, they just get thrown out at 30,000 feet.
Well, and they bring everyone back with them, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I guess that many of them trying to bring them back, they might as well have just paid. They might have paid a higher class for most of them. I mean, Statler and Wardorf also were flying back in the actual airplane. But they also apparently must have jumped out at that time because you got to see basically a refresh of Hey a Movie, that song again, as they're parachuting down at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Which pretty much is the near end of the movie, except for Gonzo taking everybody's picture at the end of the credits, if you stay to it.
Okay.
Saying, "I'll send you each a copy." I still haven't gotten that copy.
Maybe he's waiting for his $10.
That's true. Maybe.
Alrighty. I guess that brings us to production, eh?
Yeah, unless anybody else has anything on the film itself.
No.
No, but I think it's pretty much straightforward. I think we've pretty much talked about all the good points.
Like I said, I thought the production was really good on this particular film. I actually think that they took a lot of the lessons that they learned from previous films and worked as hard as they could to top them, especially when it came to set pieces and the practical effects that we have with the Muppets. But what about the rest of you?
I would agree with that for the most part. I think like we said before, they apparently learned a lot from doing the bike in the first go round and decided to build upon it, doing a much bigger bike sequence.
They did impressive stuff that that they would have had CG and other films nowadays.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, overall, I think the production is pretty solid.
Yeah, I think production overall was pretty decent. It was definitely not as it wasn't as great as the Muppet movie was, but the production overall, I think, was still solid. Although I do think there were some things that they improved on, like the bike sequence and whatnot, and I think they could have had a better interactive song choice. Maybe their songwriter was not the greatest. But I do like the Happiness Hotel song. Okay. I feel like the song lyricist was bottom of the barrel.
I would definitely not go that far, but yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
I thought the production was actually pretty good. I mean, especially since they made comments about how hard it was to do the bicycle scene in the first one, that they had multiple bicycles in this one, so they must have figured it out, because they were able to put multiple ones in this one. And yeah, I think they did a really good job, with the different scenes and the different, the swimming scene. That was, I'm sure, very wasn't something that they just did in a matter of moments. I'm sure that took a lot of planning and a lot of work to do. I didn't like the songs as much in this one as the first one. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as David, but I mean, they were definitely more catchy and more fun in the first one than they were in this one, and there was more of them that were fun.
We should mention the composer Joe Raposo. We should mention that he did the music for Three's Company, and he also did the music for Shining Time Station, and he did a lot of Sesame Street. That's the bulk of his credits, it looks like.
And I will say, like I say, I disagree heavily with Dave's saying that these are the bottom of the barrel songs. I will say that, yeah, some of the songs were not as good as others, but far from bottom of the barrel. I would definitely listen to the soundtrack on its own, which puts it above a lot of other soundtracks.
Right. Only listen to Happiness Hotel from this.
I'll definitely listen to that one frequently, but I would say overall the songs are a mixed bag, but mostly they're apparently it was Monet in the original. The Animals Complaint was Monet originally. But I'm trying to think. I feel like I read something about why they changed up the musician. Maybe I made that up, but I feel like I did. But it definitely It's not bad. And the music overall is good. But yeah, the music in the first one is just great. So it's like
Yeah.
it is a step down for the most part. It's just
Yep. I will agree that it's a step down, though I will disagree that it's a terrible piece musically. I will disagree with that.
Like I said, I like Happiness Hotel.
So
So it does have that.
mhm.
So with that, I guess that's pretty much all because we just covered music here. A lot of the actual soundtrack that's not one of those is usually just musical renditions of the songs that they're singing. Otherwise, again, I will look at this as a solid entry. Maybe
Mhm.
not the best of them, but definitely a fairly solid entry.
Mhm.
And that is the second film. We will not be covering the third in the trilogy, not this time, but we'll have to return and
Right.
hit the Muppets Take Manhattan,
Mhm.
Well, yes.
which
Who
I do
knows?
believe
Maybe we'll have another Muppet month down the road.
which I will say is a step up from this film musically, but also not as good as the first film. So it is there, but I will hand this back to you, Dave.
Alrighty.
Are we
Well-
doing favorites?
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I guess we should do favorites.
Yes, we
Um,
should.
So I guess we should do favorite scenes, your favorite Muppet in this movie, and that'll be it this time. We'll keep it simple. So let's start with you, Jake. Favorite scene and favorite Muppet in this one.
This might be one where Gonzo kind of came more into his own. So he's definitely a contender for this one. Although, again, I do, even though he only really had a very brief presence in the movie, that scene with Sam saying, "You are all weirdos," just cracked me up. And I was like, so, okay, so he gets points for that. And as far as cameos go, it's one of the better ones in the film. That one and maybe the Peter Falk cameo might be my, the best cameos. But as far as scenes,
Well, let me preface that. We can't put the Happiness Hotel scene as the favorite because that feels like the obvious.
well, most of my favorite scenes are tied up in the Happiness Hotel scene. I've already mentioned them, so there y'all have that. You have that out there marinating. So we'll try and think of another good one that's because there are a couple others that are really close. I think maybe the sequence again, the Peter Falk sequence where he gets everything wrong. The scenes where you have the thieves and the hotel patrons doing their respective checklists and the contrast between their preparations. I feel like there's one more I was going to mention that I'm blanking on. There's always one.
There can only be one.
Yes, the Happiness Hotel scene. Yes.
Well, we got a few there then mentioned. What about you, Dave? Favorite Muppet from this movie and favorite scene that's not the Happiness Hotel scene?
I think I'm going to go with I think my favorite Muppet will have to be Animal.
All right.
Animal. But because I remember seeing him eat something.
Eat
And for a moment, and he reminded me of Cookie Monster. But my favorite scene is the Neville moment. and his wife when she said, "Did I hear you say that there was a pig climbing the side of the building?" Oh yes, yes indeed, yes I did. And then of course when he opens up the closet and Miss Piggy asks for the nearest restaurant, it's like, oh yeah, there's this place, but it's more of a supper club.
I thought you said the pets were dead.
That's a good one too. that whole segment there to me, I found funny. My other favorite, it's not the song that I like. I like I like the fact that she actually kind of like spoofs Esther Williams in that whole synchronized swimming moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I like the song; I like the sequence. You know, I give credit to the talent that did all that synchronized swimming and all that junk. I knew that was tough.
That was much more. That was much more of a preference than it was. There was that scene, and I just remember that like right afterwards, where she was angry with Nikki's like, and your voice was dubbed.
Right.
Oh, and when Kermit told her that she was overacting, and she was like, I was not. I got a kick out of that too.
Well, all right. Well, as far as my favorite Muppet, it's got to be Gonzo in this one. He really was MVP in this. He was all over the place by talking about how he would really like to plummet out of the balloon, to where he was looking at how he threw himself in front of the car. It's like, it's even better when it works.
Right.
You know, things like that. He just was the MVP. And of course, Peter Falk is my favorite other than the Happiness Hotel. It's just the fact that I actually enjoyed it even before I knew what Peter Falk really was. But I enjoyed it more now that I can appreciate him as Columbo, basically.
Right.
Doing the Columbo bit and then totally getting it wrong entirely.
Right. There's a word for Gonzo in this movie, or a phrase for him. No survival instinct.
Yeah.
He's also very capable of surviving most things, which is also interesting.
But that's how Gonzo was even in the show, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He was the daredevil. He liked to do death-defying feats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although, when it comes to the Muppet Christmas Carol, he wasn't a bad Charles Dickens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that's it this time, and this time I'll hand it over to Dave.
Did you want me to do mine?
Oh shit! Sorry, I am totally out of it. All right, yes. Favorite Muppet, favorite scene.
Actually, I'd have to go with Miss Piggy this time. For favorite scenes, you guys picked a lot of the ones that I was gonna pick already, but I did like her crashing through the window on the motorcycle. That was a good one. And
the fact that the motorcycle was readily available for her to begin with.
Right.
Convenient.
And of course that the older couple, you know, with that whole sequence, that was funny, you know. But I also liked what was the cabbie's name again? I always forget it. The cabbie.
Beauregard.
Beauregard, yes. He's funny because it's like, now just go straight. Nope, you turn. He did now. Okay, now you just go straight down the street. He goes into another U-turn. It's like that whole sequence was funny because every time they told him to go straight, he did a U-turn, and like all these cars are going every which way.
It kind of makes you wonder how much longer the trip across the country in the first movie would have been if he was driving.
Oh yeah.
Just follow the fork in the road.
All
Oops,
right.
sorry.
But
Wrong
I
movie.
I got a kick out of Piggy in this one for some reason. So
Okay.
Oh, did you make
Well-
her angry?
Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry.
Okay. This time, this the third time's a charm. This time, yes, Dave. I'm definitely handing it back to you this time.
Okay. Well, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion of this this second feature of the Muppets that we've completed for y'all. If you have not seen the movie, go out and see it. I know it's streaming on Disney Plus. For all you fools who still like to pay the mouse, but that's okay. That's still only my opinion. But in any case, it wasn't bad seeing this. It's not it's not gonna be my favorite myself. But some of you might have some nostalgia for the film. Some of you might even think that this movie is even better than the Muppet movie. I don't care what you think, but okay, maybe I do. So I would like you to come down and say yay or nay whether you enjoyed our discussion on this film, and whether you liked the movie or not, and whether you liked our discussion or not. So, but we'll see you next week as we continue the Muppet journey, and hopefully y'all will have a good rest of your week, and everyone say good night.
Good night, everyone.
good night.
And for next week, we are doing the Disney revamping of the Muppets in the movie The Muppets.
We'll be traveling 30 years into the future.
We'll see you at that point.
Indeed.
Inside Movies Galore just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.